Imagine you are right in the middle of doing something important, maybe streaming your favorite show, or doing a crucial work, or just browsing the web, and suddenly everything just stops. Your internet just breaks. For countless people across the globe, on July 14, 2025, this wasn't an hypothetical scenario. It was a very real, very frustrating, hour long blackout for many users. What happened actually? A critical service from internet infrastructure giant Cloudflare, their public DNS resolver, experienced a significant global outage. Hello everyone, welcome to my new YouTube channel. My name is Locksmith, and today we are going to uncover the tracks for Cloudflare outage which was related to the public DNS resolver. So let's see what happened on the 14th of July related to the Cloudflare public DNS resolver. So Cloudflare 1.1.1.1 resolver service became unavailable to the internet starting at 9:52 UTC and ending at 10:54 UTC. And that's a full 62 minutes of downtime for many users globally and specifically impacting those relying on the public DNS resolver 1.1.1.1 and causing an intermittent degradation for gateway DNS users. For a significant portion of the internet, this meant that basically all the internet service were unavailable because they couldn't resolve the names. And if they couldn't resolve the names, they won't be able to browse the website logically. But here's a crucial point to understand right away. Despite the widespread impact, this was not the result of an attack or a border gateway protocol hijack. The actual root cause was an internal configuration error. So let's understand the background of the cause. So, to truly understand what happened, we need to understand first of all what is 1.1.1.1 and how Cloudflare operates. First, what is public DNS resolver? Now, Cloudflare basically introduced this public DNS resolver service in 2018. Think of the internet like a massive phone book. When you type a website name like youtube.com into your browser, your computer needs to find the logical IP address where that website lives. A DNS resolver is the service that translates those human readable website names into the machine readable IP address. Now, Cloudflare's 1.1.1 is a very popular, free, and fast choice for anyone to use as their DNS resolver. Now, how does Cloudflare deliver this service? Almost all Cloudflare related services, including 1.1.1, are made available using a very clever routing method, which is called as anycast. Now, this is a technique which was designed to allow traffic for popular services to be served from many different locations across the internet simultaneously. I can imagine having dozens or even hundreds of identical servers around the world all broadcasting that they can handle traffic for the same IP address like 1.1.1.1. So when your computer sends a request to 1.1.1, it gets routed to the nearest or best available Cloudflare data center. Now, this approach basically increases a capacity and a performance by bringing services closer to users, but it also means that problems with how these IP addresses are advertised can result in a global outage also. The seeds of this major outage were actually planted much earlier, which was on June 6, 2025. So basically, Cloudflare operates a service called a DLS, which is Data Localization Suite. This suite allows their customer to configure Cloudflare services in specific ways to meet compliance needs across different countries and regions. For example, ensuring data is processed only within certain geographic boundaries, which is often called as transport or data flow. Now, Cloudflare basically manages these requirements by making sure A service IP address are only internet reachable where they need to be. So each specific service has a corresponding service topology essentially. What it does it map that dictates where its traffic should be routed. So it will guide the traffic where it has to go. So during a routine software release to prepare for a pre-production DLS service, which is meaning that DLS service that wasn't live yet, so it was not under the production. So that is what they have been referring to pre-production DLS service. So a configuration error was inadvertently introduced. Okay, so what happened was that the IP address ranges or a prefix associated with the public DNS resolver service were accidentally included in the configuration for this new, which was nothing but the non-production DLS service. Critically, this error sat dormant in the production network because the new DLS service wasn't actually in use. There was no immediate impact on end users, and therefore there were no alerts were fired. It was like setting up a hidden tripwire, waiting for the right moment to be activated, right? And finally, that moment arrived on the 14th of July at 9:48 approx UTC, marking the impact as the start as per their incident response timeline. And the second, seemingly minor configuration change was made for the same non production DLS service. This change involved attaching a test location to the non production service, even though this test location itself wasn't live or public. This seemingly innocuous update triggered a global refresh of a Cloudflare network configuration. And because of that dormant error, from June 6th, the public DNS resolver, which is 1.1.1.1, were inadvertently included in the global configuration refresh. So, here what happened was the service topology for 1.1.1.1 prefix was reduced from all location down to a single offline location. So, you remember when I said that it was pointed to pre production DLS? That was this configuration. And that is nothing but a direct result. So Cloudflare system began to globally and immediately withdraw all 1.1.1 prefix from their production data centers. And as a part of our border gateway protocol routes, the instruction routers used to find the IP address that is the working of a border gateway protocol. So I'll take a moment to explain what is border gateway protocol. So this is the protocol which actually connects the internet together and decide what is the best path for data to travel. Now, this also depends upon the different network, which is also known as ASN, which is autonomous system numbers. So, what are the ASN? ASN are nothing but a group of networks which is under a single organization, and they basically manage all of the routing policy. Basically, they run on a common routing policy instead of creating multiple policy for every ASN numbers. So, and here's the one term also being used, which is nothing but IP prefix. Now, IP prefix is a block or a range of IP address which is owned and advertised by the ASN owner. Coming back to our analysis, so as the BGP routes, which is the instruction routers used to find the IP address to 1.1.1, that were withdrawn and the service became unavailable to the internet because at that moment of time your resolver was not able to resolve anything behalf of you, and you were sitting offline. So the immediate consequence was a global drop in DNS traffic to 1.1.1.1. Cloudflare observed an immediate and a significant drop in queries over TCP and DNS over TLS, which is DOT. These are a different protocol used for sending data over the internet. Now, with the UDP being common for DNS, TCP for reliable connections, and DOT for encrypted DNS queries. So basically, this outages impacted traffic to several crucial IP ranges, which is you can see on the screen. And there's one moment, interestingly, DNS over HTTPS, which is DOH, traffic remains relatively stable and mostly unaffected. So do you know why? Because most DOH user access the service via a domain name. For example, cloudflare-dns.com. So rather than directly asking directly by IP address, and crucially, it uses a different set of IP address also, which is not impacting that particular users. So DOH basically provides a very crucial layer for all of the users so that their connections make stable. DOH is basically completely encrypted. So, for example, for a plain DNS, if you ask for an IP address, it will give to you, and the job is done. But for DOH, it is making sure that you as a user stay resilient and unaffected by any sort of interception. So now a brief but important side note that on 954 UTC, an unrelated border gateway protocol origin hijack of one of the subnet, which is by Tata Communication India, and the autonomous number is 4755 was exposed. So this means Data Communications started advertising ownership of an IP range that wasn't actually theirs. So while it looked like a hijack initially, Cloudflare emphatically states that this was not actually the cause of their service failure, but merely an unrelated issue made sudden visible because at that moment Cloudflare owns legitimate routes for that particular subnets were withdrawn. So as you can, as you know that at the start of the video I said that they have withdrawn all of their routes using their BGP and other protocols. So they are following up with the Terra communications on this. Whatever the updates would be there, I'll keep you posted on that. And the last but not the least is the final, the recovery, which is fixing the problem. Now, Cloudflare basically internal service health alerts for the 1.1 resolver began to fire at 10:01 UTC, and an incident was declared immediately at that moment. So their investigation quickly revealed that the traffic towards the resolver prefix had drastically dropped, as you can see on the graph also, and the 1.1.1 routes were completely missing from their internal BGP routing table. The fix was initiated swiftly. A revert to the previous configuration was deployed at 10:20 UTC as per their timeline, and this action immediately began re-advertising the BGP prefix that had been withdrawn initially at the time of an incident, and that also includes the subnet range which was highlighted by Tata Communication, which is 1.1.1.0/24. Now, this initial step restored the public DNS resolver traffic level roughly to 77% of what they were prior to the incident. However, for a full restoration, more was needed actually. So, during the period of withdrawal, approximately 23% of Cloudflare Edge servers, the fleet of servers closest to users. Now, edge servers are basically something. So, let's say, for example, you are watching a video over the Netflix, but it could be possible that wherever that you are streaming, so let's say there's a location A, and you are sitting at location B. So the location A is very nearer to you, and that's where the edge network of Netflix has stored that video near to you itself. So whenever this edge server basically communicates, you see a very improving performance. So that is what the edge server is. So that those kind of fleet of servers are very closest to the users also. So that had automatically reconfigured to remove the required IP bindings. The association of a specific IP address with their services, normally restoring this configuration is very slow. Now it is the multi-hours process with the progressive rollouts across the network for safety also. But given the severity of the incident, Cloudflare accelerated the rollout of the fix after carefully verifying the changes in testing location. And by 10:54 UTC, normal traffic levels were being observed, and the incident was officially resolved at 10:55 UTC. Now, as per the incident response process, the very last step is lessons learned. So what basically Cloudflare does is Cloudflare takes this kind of an incident very seriously, and they recognize the significant impact they have on the internet users. And they have identified several crucial steps to prevent this similar issues from occurring in the future. They have actually created a sort of plan so that this won't happen in the future. So the very first thing they did is the deprecating the legacy system. Now, the outage highlighted a significant flaw in their older approach to managing their service topologies, which was hard coded explicit list of data center locations. And what they does is they attach them into the prefix of IP. Now, this method is basically error prone and lack of modern and progressive deployment methodologies. So Cloudflare is accelerating this migration away from these risky legacy systems to ensure higher standards for documentation and test coverage should be there for all the internet users. The second thing is the staging addressing deployment. Their newer systems are designed to describe service topologies without needing in hard coded IP address. Now, this allows for staged deployments with continuous health monitoring. This means changes can propagate slowly, but it providing an early indications of issues also so that they can make a quick changes or any rollbacks before a widespread impact like on this case. And the last thing is they kind of improved their documentations and the test coverage, and that's very a key part of moving away from a legacy system so that they ensures a much higher standards for how changes is very important whenever it is going out of the test or it is going into the production. So that's what all of the future care and the lessons learned they have done it as per the current incident. So to conclude what we have seen so far, so the Cloudflare DNS resolver service fell victim to an internal configuration error that lays a dormant for weeks before being triggered. It was a powerful reminder of how interconnected our digital world is and how single misstep in critical internet infrastructure can have a global and cascading consequences. So Cloudflare has apologized for the significant disruption and this incident caused and is actively making an improvement to ensure they improved the stability moving forward and to prevent this problem from happening again. Now, this incident underscores the continuous effort required by a company like Cloudflare to maintain the stability and reliability on the internet we all rely on. So, that was all the explanation related to this case study, which is nothing but a Cloudflare which was being exposed by the public DNS resolver 1.1.1. Thank you so much for watching this video and let me know what are your thoughts on this outage and Cloudflare response. Let me know in the comments below if you found this explanation helpful and you have learned anything new from this video. Please like this video and subscribe to my new YouTube channel and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much.